Welcome to the Union FC Indy Insider. The Union FC Indy Insider is a podcast to spotlight coaches, share club values, and connect with families in our soccer community. And today I am joined by somebody that I know very well and get to spend a lot of time with, Coach Evan Krupa. Evan is the Director of Coaching for the Girls Junior and Senior Academy, so U9 through U12, and the club's co-administrator. Evan.
Happy to be here. This is exciting.
I feel like I just literally saw you.
I saw you last night. So.
But it's great. It's been actually really fun the last few years to coach alongside Evan, learn with him, from him, and to watch just another amazing person lead at our club and this transition to Union FC Indy with the new branding. We've got tryouts coming up very soon, which we're excited about. And so if you haven't, or if you're interested or looking for a place to belong to, we would love for you to sign up for registration and register for tryouts that are coming up for your kids' appropriate age group. But Evan, let's get to know you a little bit.
Absolutely.
What was, in your playing days, what was your primary position as a soccer player?
So when I was growing up, I played a ton of positions. I would say outside back was my home. But funny enough, we only had one goalie on our high school team, and our goalie got hurt halfway through the season. And I was the person that was called upon to take on that role, and I did the best I could. Wasn't a goalie, but the thing about being a goalie is got to be fearless and just go in there and do your job, and that's. But I would say outside back was my main position that I grew up playing. Okay. So
very good. What was a favorite soccer playing moment for you? Could be in those early days or later days.
I'd have to say just playing with my high school buddies and on our high school team, just getting to play with them and winning a sectional title. We unfortunately lost to Zions. I went to Pike High School, so we lost to Zionsville in the regionals that my senior year, but it was just a fun experience. We had 14 seniors on the team. Just getting to grow up and my high school years with those guys and getting a chance to play with them was just awesome.
That's awesome. That's good. What was the best advice a coach gave to you during your playing days? Maybe something that's even stuck with you to this day.
I think just doing the simple things really well, like not overcomplicating things, just doing the simple things well was something that I don't remember which coach told me, but I remember it has stuck with me whenever I play, whenever I'm trying to teach. It's just doing the simple things really well and not overcomplicating what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Now, this one always gets a little controversial. Who's your favorite soccer team and maybe a favorite player that you like following?
It's not controversial for me at all. It's Arsenal. Arsenal is my favorite team. I'm a real big fan of Bukayo Saka for really the biggest reason. He just seems like a really great person, and he really he cares about the fans. He cares about the game. He cares about the club, and it's just I've grown up loving Arsenal. Funny enough story. The reason I picked Arsenal was because my first video game, soccer game ever was FIFA 04. They were really good that year, and they were the first team alphabetically that came up. So I was just like, I started playing with them, liked them, started watching them, and it was. I've been supporting them for the last 21 years. So it's they having a rough season-ish this year, but hopefully next year we can figure it out.
Yeah, that's good. It's fun. It is fun, especially kind of back in those days. It wasn't as accessible to to watch the games. You'd maybe have to pay pay-per-view or something like that, or Fox Soccer Channel. And now it's amazing in this generation for young people that, it's just on NBC, every weekend, which is great.
Paramount
USA
Plus has the Champions League, and NBC's got the Premier League. It's great.
And I think that is it is a great tool as well, as long as kids are interested. It's a way to see things and see how the game is played in a different way.
I think it's so undervalued watching the game, and more players need to be watching the game. Even if it's 90 minutes is a long time for a kid to sit down and watch. But they'll sit down and watch a movie. And those are about the same length. So just sitting down with your kids and watching the game, they can learn so much from just watching.
I agree. Evan, what was your journey like as a soccer player, and then how did that lead into coaching? You've now been at ZYSA, now Union FC Indy for several years now in different roles. But what was kind of the path that led you to say, this is something I want to do? What were some of those early opportunities, and kind of how'd you end up at the club?
Yeah. So from a playing perspective, I was a decent enough player, but I was never one of the best players on the team. But I learned, I listened, I took in a lot of every coach that I ever had, and I took in their feedback, and I was like, this is something I feel like I could do. Coming out of high school, I worked a lot of camps with the former Carmel United club because my brother played there. So I worked some of their camps and enjoyed that. And then when I went up to Ball State, I decided to volunteer at the local club up there, which is now Delaware County FC. It was a rough team because it's not as much of a soccer community up there. It's a very big baseball community up there. And so after a year there, I got my first opportunity with Carmel United, coaching there, which later turned into Indiana Fire Juniors. I spent 6 years between those two clubs. And then it just felt like an opportunity to move on, and that's when I joined up with ZYSA. I saw what their values were and felt really good about the direction they were starting to go in. I was very close with Jonathan McClure, who was the director of coaching at the time, because he had been my director of coaching at Indiana Fire. And I just felt that this was a club that the values they were trying to instill in the players, in the culture they're trying to develop, was just something that I really wanted to be a part of.
Yeah, it's great. What if how have your roles kind of morphed over the years, or maybe age groups that you've worked with since you've been at the club?
The first year I had a U14 girls team and a U14 boys team. U14 boys team, we were lucky enough to have 3 teams at that age group, so it was the third team, but it was a team of very hardworking boys that we had a lot of success with them, despite being the third team in that age group. From there, I worked under Rob for a year with the 03 girls, and then just helped out with a lot of our academy and pathway teams that next year, just really getting more involved with the club. The 03 girls were a very successful team that they had built their time at the club from the youngest age to it was when they were U17s, and they had a lot of success. They were playing regionally. We would go to showcases. It was a ton of fun. It was a fun group. The year after, that's when Jonathan had me kind of own the girls pathway and the U9 girls the next year. So that's where I really started to get to mold the pathway, girls pathway program, at least, kind of where my vision was getting them just really technical on the ball. And then after that, that's when the club was really kind of exploding with numbers, is when they decided to add the assistant director roles. And that's when Jonathan brought in Rob, myself, Matt Coyer, and Jordan as the assistant directors or coaches. Then I was overseeing the senior girls program while also coaching the girls pathway. I thought this was great because I got to get them started, but also oversee where they were going. And it was a really fun experience. And then eventually it got to where the club decided to go with 3 directors of coaching, and that's when I took over solely the pathway program, boys and girls, and kind of molded to what it is today, where we're really putting these pathway kids into situations where they can really be challenged technically, and really develop as soccer players, where before I think they were just being put into situations where they're just playing. It's like, no, we really want to challenge these kids technically. Point now where I'm overseeing the girls academy, which I love. I started with girls at Carmel United, and I've enjoyed coaching girls for the majority of my career, but the times where I've got to coach boys as well, it's been fantastic as well. So.
Well, and I think there's a lot of faces people interact with, and there's some people who maybe are coaching, they're a staff coach in one age group, And then there's people like yourself, and we've talked with Matt Lowe and others, where it's like a director of coaching. You're not just there to coach that team in an age appropriate way. You are paving a pathway for them. And how does that fit into and I would say even over the last few years, I've seen the connectivity between those age groups and the transitions and some of the things that we do, I think, that are very unique of how we prepare kids for that next level, and making sure that it's based on that player still, right? That we're not just pushing people up a pathway, but to say there are some teams that are going to get an opportunity in a certain tournament to play from 4v4 to 7v7, 7v7 to 9v9, just to help them make that transition and turn. And the thoughtfulness on that stuff, and it's not just show up and let's let the kids play. The things that I watch our directors, that I get to observe you on regularly, because I coach in that we get to coach in the same age group, is the intentionality, the themes, the focus, the ideals that we're trying to hit in that age group. And it really is, there's intention behind it, and watching that, I think it's got to be fulfilling, watching kids go from one age group to the next, and then seeing them later on in their soccer journey and being like, wow, it's really cool to be a part of the journey in all of that.
Not even within the age group, it's also one team to the next, because you see kids that when they're early on, they might struggle and might be on our white level teams, but as they progress and then eventually kids get into our green 2, green 1 teams, and it's like just to see the growth from age group to age group and then team to team it's very rewarding.
Yeah. What continues to get you excited about coaching at the club? What's kind of something you've been at some other clubs in the past. Obviously you've observed a lot of that. But what kind of helps us stand up and makes us unique, and why you continue to be excited to be a part of the club?
I think first of all is just the community around this club. I know we are a very Zionsville-based club, but the fact that we're trying to expand outside of that to bring people into what is such a great Zionsville community is going to be so great. And then really these last couple of years, the leadership's team we've really come together and have strived to when one of us has an issue, we're all working the issue. Yeah. And when there's successes, we're all working the successes. And now it's like we're all working for the one goal of this club to make it competitive, make it great, make the kids just enjoy coming out every single time. And that's the goal. Kids enjoy it.
Yeah. What experiences from your past, but also with the club values, have kind of shaped your philosophy and your approach? Watching your demeanor and like this longer view that I feel like I've observed you to take, which has really helped me grow as a coach as well, has been really, really unique. But what have been some of those things that have shaped that? And what are some of those things that you're trying to embody as part of the club and the values as part of your coaching philosophy?
Yeah. I think the biggest things that have shaped me when I was a younger coach, I started coaching when I was 19, so I've been doing this for 16 years, was I would be that like in your face coach, and I wasn't getting the results I wanted out of the kids. The kids weren't responding to it. Yeah. And so realizing that, well, I am an important part of helping these kids develop. I'm not the most important thing. The players are the most important thing. They really determine their path. Yeah. And I'm just a guy that gives them ideas on how to do that. So in moments where the kids are playing, like in games, like I take that as that's the test. Yeah. Like when kids are in school, teacher's not guiding them through the test. If they have a question about something on the test, the teacher will answer. Right. And I feel like that's my role. It's like, okay, this player made a mistake. I'm going to give them a chance to work through it, and then I'll give them the feedback they need to try and correct it. Yeah. And it's up to them to take that feedback. And with the age group girls we're working with now, U9 and U10, it's like they're going to fail a lot. A lot. And that's okay. It's okay. And it's just giving that feedback at the right moments. It's not, hey, do this, and saying it over and over again. Yeah. Let them fail 2 or 3 times and say, okay, try this next time. And then let them fail 2 or 3 more times. And I think that's really what's shaped. Everybody wants to win. My philosophy has always been I want to develop players to be winners. And winners isn't just, we won the game 1-0. We won 10-0. No, it's being able to going back to simple things really, really well.
Yeah.
And if we can do the simple things really, really well, we're winners.
Yeah.
And eventually that will turn into results.
Well, I
in
think
the game.
I think even, some opponents' parents would just kind of walk by after this weekend's tournament. I heard it in our age group, but also some of the other age groups of just like, man, I just really liked how you guys conducted yourself this weekend, and from the coaches to the players, when you were winning or when you were down, just kind of how it was handled. And that does really start with the grown-ups,
Exactly.
and it does start from the leadership of the club down to the staff coaches, down into the parents, and then the players. And we saw that on display. Healthy expressions of that, I think, in a lot of ways. And I think there's times where we observe it, maybe with the team we play or whatever, that it is a reminder that there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be, the opportunity to tell a kid what they should do every moment is always there, right? Yep. Especially at this younger age group. But giving them the confidence, like you said, to work through it. I think even just knowing that that's part of the club's philosophy is like, it's not indifference. It's not sitting back. They're getting the instruction and the encouragement, but giving them the opportunity to sort through the toolbox we've hoped to have equipped them with during training sessions or other matches that they've been through, to grab a tool from that and to whether that's a mental thing, a physical thing, a technical thing, a tactical thing, to sort through that. Evan, what are some of your thoughts and encouragements, to parents? I mean, obviously, I'm a parent as well as a coach, and we want whatever my kid is doing, I want them to do their best. I want them to succeed. I want them to be having fun. How do we preserve some of those things for them to grow? And how do we encourage that as adults in their life, as parents in their life? What kind of encouragement can we give to parents as they journey with their kids? As tryouts are coming again. We're going to have another season coming up in the fall. Spring is wrapping up, all of those things. What are some encouragements we could give to parents as they continue to support their children on this journey?
I think you hit it there. Everybody wants their kid to succeed. I think if you don't want your kid to succeed, there's an issue.
Yeah.
But I think we're so eager to want them to succeed that we don't want them to fail. And there's so much opportunity in learning and failure.
Yeah.
And I think the best piece of advice I can give parents is let your kid fail. I think we're trying to create a very safe environment for failure.
Yeah.
Because there's so much opportunity in failure.
Yeah.
And so just taking a step back and saying, okay, my kid messed up that skill or did this or did that. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. We're going to use that as a teaching moment and help them grow from those moments. Right. I like to work with the kids off the ball more than the kids on the ball, because the kid on the ball has a split second to make a decision. Mm-hmm. And they're probably a lot of times going to make what could be considered a wrong decision.
Yeah.
But that's okay, because that's what they saw. And then it's our job as coaches to say, okay, this is what you did. What happened when you did this?
Yeah.
Okay, we lost possession of the ball. Can we try this next time to try and keep possession? And that's where, as parents, it's like, when your kid has the ball, don't say anything.
Yeah.
Let's see what they do.
Yeah.
My biggest pet peeve is when people shout out shoot. Like, it's like, well, yeah, we want them to shoot. That's the ultimate goal. We want to score goals. But when you say shoot, the kid thinks, I need to shoot now.
Yep.
When one more touch might be better to get a better shot.
Yep.
Or they might need to pass it to a teammate who can shoot.
Right.
And it's just, when the kid's on the ball, just let's see what decision they make. Yeah. Let's see what decision, and then we can coach them afterwards if they make the wrong decision.
Right.
And that's where just let your kids fail. Like that, it is okay. There's opportunity in failure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good. And you may have heard that. You may hear that on the sidelines, of where we do want to create those environments for all of our players at all of the age groups, where they're not going to be berated for making a mistake. They're going to be encouraged. They are going to be challenged. They are going to be asked to consider, what could we do differently next time? But you might see some other teams where, coaches at other clubs are really getting in the faces of their players. That has not been our experience. It's not going to be your experience at the club. And I love that, because there's a philosophy behind that, right? It's not just a personality or a profile or this or that. It's like, these are values that tether us together at all the age groups. Evan, thank you for jumping in. Thank you for all you're doing for the
This is
club. Thank you for the investment that you give to so many kids across the age groups of the clubs, especially working with that junior and senior academy on the girls' side. And we want to say thank you to tuning into this episode of the Union FC Indy Insider. Make sure you like and subscribe wherever you're tuning into this, and make sure you get dialed in for tryouts. Reach out to the club, get signed up, get registered. We'll have some things in the video as well where you can get that information, and we'll see you next time.